Hi, did you miss me? I know you did. So today we have dentures. Uh, Technically they're not really dentures, they're more just teeth or a mouth. But you can see here I really wanted to make individual teeth. And originally I wanted them to be usable, but they're kind of useless because they're just so small. But I did make sure that I was like trying to make them like size accurate. So the big teeth in the front are bigger, and then the back teeth, the molars, are chunkier. And I did look at a reference to make sure I had the right amount of teeth. And I was also trying to make it so that the bite, like the teeth didn't completely match on top and bottom, because like in real life, like your teeth don't completely match each other, so that like your bite can chew properly. Yeah, so I made all the teeth white. You'll see later I actually make like a rotten tooth and like a golden tooth, and I just kind of am trying to embellish it to make it kind of more realistic. And I made the gums all fleshy, and I also made a tongue because I wanted to add some more, like another layer in there. And also I was like, how else are you gonna get upstairs, like to the top floor, to the top gum? Because I would otherwise have to put stairs just kind of like floating in the mouth, and I was like, that's kind of boring. So I mean, technically they are floating anyway, but it makes more sense with the tongue, and it makes kind of like a fun platform to play with. So yeah, you can see here, my sister suggested that I put the cupcake machine in this, but I did decide to make it a restaurant, and so I started kind of like thinking about what I wanted the waiters to be. I honestly forgot that you could like make a menu and stuff and like change the clothes of them, so I made the chefs look like hot dogs. I did kind of forget to finish that early on. But so here I'm just placing like all of the necessary stuff on the outside. Obviously we don't have many doors to pick from since they're pink and there aren't many. But yeah, I was just kind of placing stuff around. I wanted the staircase to be pretty wide since this property is built on one of the square lots, the like, what is it, 30 by 30 or 40 by 40, something like that. So there's a lot of space to fill up. Oh my gosh, like I had a hard time with that because it was just such an expansive space. I also didn't add any windows because it really ruined the illusion. So unfortunately, this is very dark inside. I mean, I put a lot of lights. I don't know why I put those awnings there. But yeah, so I wanted to put food in the teeth, make it kind of gross. My favorite. And yeah, you can see that. So that the tongue is actually kind of like an outside court area, which I thought was really fun. And I ended up putting pools in the back to kind of act like your saliva kind of comes from the back of your mouth. Kind of like when you're at the dentist and like all your saliva pools at the back of your mouth. That's kind of what it was. And then I did allow myself to use green in this build because like I figured, oh, imagine it's like chewing stuff, and so it actually has like the food in the mouth actively. So I tried to use, yeah, just like a lot of water features in this area and a lot of greenery. So it's actually like quite a nice build, like actually pretty like fun and like kind of pretty if you ignore the teeth like a little bit. Yeah, but so I was just trying to do the outside stuff at night, make sure that it's lit up and you can actually see stuff. Here I'm just playing with all the required items or like restaurant associated items, because I did make this a diner, but it obviously has pools, so like it's kind of more of like a diner lounge. I know I use pools a lot in my builds, but like it's like, how else are you gonna fill the space, you know? And like also I just like the idea of it being realistic. But yeah, so because of the diner vibe, I was trying to use the booths, which I've never really used before, so that was kind of a learning curve there. I ended up taking out like the middle one. But yeah, so I also made sure to test most of this with the Sims, so I believe they can get to everything. But yeah, so here I'm just building stuff. I did end up like sectioning off the space in the back for the kitchen, which I thought turned out pretty nice and like is nice and walkable for the Sims. And then I tried to put bathrooms on every floor except for the tongue platform. So oh wait, no, it does have a bush. So I made sure to have a bush at least on the floors that like don't have an actual proper bathroom, and then have actual bathrooms on like the gum floors. Oh, here, yeah, now I'm actually making the changes. So I was making it kind of like diner kitschy, but still pink, so like making sure to give them like aprons and stuff, except for the hosts. And yeah, then I chose like all the kind of diner foods that I thought would fit. I am gonna skip through this part. I actually focused on putting a lot of pies for some reason in here. So I had the hardest time with this build in terms of style because, I mean, okay, I guess I always have a hard time with the style, but specifically with like the counters, it was making it really weird, and also the lighting was like affecting it, so it was like sometimes it appears warmer than it actually is. Like here I didn't cut off the because I made like the outdoor indoor thing inside the mouth. Currently the main space looks cooler toned than it actually is, so eventually I'll kind of cut it off and then like, yeah, here, and then I can more easily match the colors. But I did kind of use like both warm and cool, so like if you're really a stickler for that kind of thing, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it leans more towards the warm side in like the actual gums, and then the cooler tones of pink are more in the mouth tongue area, just because of the way that the lighting works in the game, but also because I was using so much green inside the actual mouth. You'll see in a sec. I didn't really have to worry too much about like using the cooler tone pinks, I guess. It was more kind of like, I'm just gonna use pinks. Oh my god, one thing about these huge ass builds is that I end up using the dance floor like no matter what. It's like what else do you put there, right? Like if you have any ideas, please let me know. But yeah, I was like, okay, karaoke, you know, you're singing, you're dancing. I put the photograph station there because like you smile with your teeth, and so that's how you take pictures. The debate thing, because you're using your mouth to talk and debate and stuff. And then I used the kegs because you drink with your mouth. I don't know. The smoking, what are those called? The hookah, whatever. You smoke with your mouth. So I just, you know, as usual, I'm trying to pack everything in there, like activity after activity after activity. One thing I was trying to do, I was like, oh, it would be cool to have like a sauna, but you know, that's kind of a lot to ask for. But I was like, I kind of have the room for it, but at the same time I was like, oh, I was using the So I was using the witch's cauldron as like a tongue piercing. So I really wanted it to be in the center of the tongue. But it was just not working with the sauna, so I kind of had to choose, and I was like, I kind of want the witch's cauldron because I feel like I haven't used it like properly in a build yet, and so because it's like liquid, I was like, it's good enough to be inside the mouth, you know. But yeah, in general, everything is as functional as possible, and there's actually a lot of room for the Sims, which actually I feel like is a lot better for gameplay, because especially in these community lots, like because they actually have room to like walk and like die or, you know, do stuff, which the testing sim that I was using did die after this, fun fact. But oh yeah, there's the gold tooth that I added. Thought it would be nice to have one tooth that's rotted, one tooth that's fixed. Yeah. But yeah, so I ended up putting a dance floor here too. So I have 2 dance floors here, one in the top gum and one in the bottom gum. And I also added a jacuzzi because, of course, your mouth is hot and you can have hot water, some fishbowl stuff. So one thing that's crazy about this as well is that this build actually was a lot shorter than some of my other builds, and I think that's partially because like pink items are a little bit harder to come by in terms of furniture and like clutter as well. So like also for like this kind of diner setup, it just wasn't, it was hard to find as much clutter. Like the most clutter that I found was for the kitchen, but then it was like everything else, it was like I don't know what else to put here. Like I didn't use debug in this one. I was kind of being lazy, I guess. So maybe that's kind of why I couldn't find as much, but I you know, I still enjoyed it. I think sometimes I like the challenge of like not using debug and trying to use only what is actually available like from the main game. And part of that is just because like it's faster, but like I just like the challenge. Here you can see I tried to use that green leaf from like the, what's it called? The playground, the water playground thing, just because it's like a leaf, but it was okay aesthetically, I guess, but I ended up taking it out. But yeah, it was also just hard to decorate the top floor, because it was like, how do you even decorate this? Like, there's just so much open space. Like, I know my Bigfoot one, like, there's like clutter galore. Like, that one is crazy. This one, not as much clutter, but also your game doesn't like get overwhelmed as much like actually playing in it, so I guess that's good. And I think it's just like really fun to play in because it's so ridiculous. I also chose that specific white DJ one because it looks like a tooth, and I put it at the front because it's kind of like the root of a tooth. Even though it's not completely aligned, you know, I had to still make it functional. I also used those pink cushions. Like, I don't know why, I really wanted to use like the indented ones where it has the pin button thing. Like, the texture I felt was important, kind of because like the carpet color pink, it is carpet. So this is all carpet, which is a little weird. But I like the texture. Like, if you go up close to it, I like it. It's not one of the like frilly textured ones. It's like just the plain carpet texture. But yeah, a little bit weird for a lounge / diner. But I did try to make up for that, like in some parts. Yeah, added the water balloons there. And I was debating on this shark slide, but I just saw that it had a pink version, and I was trying to fill out space, and so I was like, why not? Like, it's blue, yeah, and it's ugly, but, you know, you can delete it if you want. I'm just trying to give all of the options possible, and everything possibly related to this. Yeah, but I was just... So one thing, in order to take up the space, I was like, I gotta do something with this front. And so I just made it like another sitting area, which like, so many sitting areas, but it's like, what else are you gonna do? You know, I've already maxed out everything else. But I guess it's kind of cute anyway. Yeah, I tried to use the carpet to kind of fill out the space. Maybe I could have done that in the kitchen, but there's not really carpets in the kitchen except for like a rug. But I didn't do that. See, here I am trying to break up that carpet texture. Then I also added windows on the insides of the teeth, and I know that's like kind of ruins the illusion a little bit, but it's literally just for visibility so that when you're playing you can actually see your Sims without like hiding all the walls, so that you can see through past the inside of the tooth. So I know it looks weird, but it's for gameplay, I promise. And it's just kind of like a quality of life thing, so hopefully that's okay with you. Yeah, so here's me like trying to fill out this ginormous space. I kind of like the like comedy debate lounge area. I thought that was kind of cute. And yeah, just adding like extra lighting around because this build is so insanely dark. I just like really went all out with the lighting, and which I'm kind of glad. Like, I think it does like add, you know, something a little extra special to it. I do think I also added lighting around inside the mouth to make sure that you could see stuff. I think that's always like an important part of a build to me. So yeah, here's me doing it at night, making sure you can see everything nice and pretty. I also added the martini glass light on the tongue, so it's like you're drinking a martini glass. It looks weird in the daytime, and like but it looks really cool at night, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. And I've never seen, I think it's a new item, I hadn't seen it before. So yeah, I think it's a cool build to do at nighttime, even though it's a diner, so it has like a lot of breakfast stuff, but it's like also a lounge. But I made it more of a restaurant, which I think is fine. Like, I guess I could have made it a lounge instead. I don't know. I don't really know like the benefits of either. I think I tend to gravitate toward more of a diner, like a restaurant, because it has more required items, which I kind of like, because I want it to like fill out the space as much as possible. So the diner gives you more items that you are required. So that's why I did that. Yeah, so I guess the host station is kind of like the beginning entrance, like, you know, in case it gets really busy and there's a huge line, you know. So like technically it makes sense, right? But yeah, so it was also hard to come up with all of the decorations around. I tried to make it very dinery, so it's like kind of desert vibe, even though that's not, I don't know that that's really diner, but like, I don't know, it's American, so that's, I figured that was close enough. And also like very car themed, which is very American diner. And then also like put up like into those frames that you can fill yourself, because like family diners usually have some sort of like family pictures and stuff, so I figured that would be really cool, like if you end up buying this diner and owning it. That's like one thing I love about diners, is like how personal they are to like the family that owns it. And even like more commercial diners, like they're still kitschy, you know, love that. I also tried to use all of the teeth related decorations, of which there are very few. It's really only like that one wall like 2 wall decals and like little 2 posters, I think. Yeah, in this I ended up using like a lot of posters specifically, because that does feel very like diner / lounge to me. But yeah, the other teeth related item was the like dentures in a cup. I guess I didn't put toothbrushes around. I could have done that, but for some reason I didn't think to do that. But yeah, you can see like here I'm like really stacking up on like the kitchen and the diner area itself in terms of clutter and like decorating. It was much more difficult to decorate in the upstairs on the gums. Oh yeah, I did put a bar in the top so that, you know, there's actually some more to do up there. And I do think I added the photo booth thing too. Yeah, so you have multiple ways to take photos. But yeah, I thought like the dance floor, the see-through dance floor was really cool because then you can see the tongue underneath inside the mouth. I thought that was really cool. I did kind of wish that most of this build was more of the like not baby pink, but like cooler toned pink, just because I think I personally like that kind of pink better. But you know, had to do with what we had. So here I am placing much more of the plants in here, which I think really makes the mouth part really nice. I did try putting stuff inside the teeth, but again, it was just too small for stuff. And the other thing I was thinking was like for gameplay, like kind of similar with the windows that I put in the teeth. Like if you have stuff that's like inside the teeth as well, like you would just kind of see it even if all the walls were down. And so I just, for like practicality, I didn't include stuff in there so that it wouldn't bug you while you're there. And also just like so it doesn't glitch out so hard like in loading and stuff. So yeah, the pink and green part of the mouth I think really turned out well. And yeah, the clutter in this one, not so crazy. I did my best. Okay, maybe not my best, but you know, did what I wanted. Okay, that's what you're gonna get. One thing that about the kitchen and like the clutter items that really bugs me is that there's so much kitchen clutter, and like so you can just fully fill up the counter space, but you actually need counter space like for a real kitchen, so like you can't actually fill it up. And so that bugs me so much because I really want to fill it up, and it's like, okay, they need to provide more clutter that's like living room and like, and also, but tables are hard to put clutter on sometimes because you want people to be able to eat on them, and if you have like a small table, then they won't be able to have clutter. I mean, I guess it's kind of similar in like real life. Like if you have too much clutter, you have nowhere to put stuff. So like, okay, maybe my bad for expecting you to be able to do both. I am a very clutterful person, so I'm not great at that. But I do, you know, I have both. I have room for placing things and I have room for decorations. I wish I had more room for decorations though, which is usually why I try and put a lot of shelves. This build didn't get that many shelves from me. So yeah, that was one difference from some of my other builds. And then like the shelves that I even did put, like I didn't even get to clutter them that much, but I guess that's more room for you, you know, you can do what you want. But yeah, so enjoy the walkthrough. I love that I figured out how to even do this. And I love that we have the Sims like actually in there doing their thing. Got a vampire in there, and that's my Sim that is dying. Yeah, all the bathrooms are the same, so that's a little bit boring of me. But I did want it to make it like dinery and like, you know, still match the mouth theme, so like it has to be pink. I forgot to do the ceilings here, so I'm gonna go back and do the ceilings. I wish the ceilings would just kind of like automatically do themselves, but I get like why they don't. But I don't know, it's just like such an afterthought, and then like the only time I actually see it is like when I'm doing that walkthrough. Like you don't even see it during gameplay, but like if you're taking a nice picture or something, you want to be able to have the ceiling be nice. So I did make sure to do that, and I think especially on the tongue it's really important, like the most important part to do that, to really get it immersed. But yeah, I think it creates some like scenic views. Yeah, I wanted to show like exactly what it would look like to the Sims, so I made sure to have all the walls up and everything for you. But yeah, I think it's like kind of a fun thing. Made sure to use the marble staircase, get all those veins in there. And oh, there I messed up the ceiling again. Yeah, sometimes the ceilings confuse me. I'm still learning how to use them. And I actually did make the wall heights like the smallest, because that just seemed like most proportional for all the teeth and the gums and stuff. But that did limit like some of the objects I was able to use as well, so that was another thing that, you know, just had to take into consideration. Both karaoke rooms are also the same as each other, which again, a little boring, but whoops. Yeah, so hope you liked it. Thank you. Bye.